This poor unfortunate soul actually asked me to tell you guys about every single Robin, so here we go. Now, for the sake of time, I only get 3 minutes. We're only going to be covering the 5 main current continuity Robins. You might occasionally and incorrectly hear people refer to the 4 main Robins, but there are indeed 5 of them. So first up, we have the originator of the mantle. This is Richard Grayson, better known as Dick. He was introduced in 1940 because they realised that Batman needed somebody to soften him out a little bit to better market to children. The son of circus acrobats and an acrobat himself, despite being like 8 years old, he was tragically there the night his parents' line were cut and they fell to their deaths. Now, Bruce Wayne, Batman, was also there, and he kept an eye on Dick, seeing a sort of kindred spirit in what he'd gone through with the loss of his parents. After an unsuccessful stint in several group home situations and several foster situations, Bruce eventually ends up taking Dick in. The mantle name Robin comes from the nickname that his mother used to call him. However, as he grew, him and Bruce had increasing disagreements, which ultimately led to him taking on his own mantle, Nightwing. Whilst he was Bruce's ward for a number of years, he was not actually the first one adopted. Jason Todd, better known as Red Hood, was the first child that Bruce actually adopted, despite Jason actually having living parents. Now, despite what you'll hear about Jason being the angry Robin, he was probably one of the more cheerful ones. Despite having a really rough home life, where poverty, drugs and crime were pretty prevalent, he was a pretty fun-loving kid. He also arguably got the best parenting that Bruce gave anybody. However, in an infamous fan vote, he ended up being killed off, which brings us back to when he came back as Red Hood and where his anger and rage originally came from. And it wasn't long until we were introduced to another Robin. Remember how I mentioned Dick Grayson's parents falling to their death? Well, Timothy Drake was also there that night, and not only did he remember that, he remembered a certain little move that the young Dick Grayson could do. Later on, when he saw Robin doing that, he put 2 and 2 together. Having seen Batman continue down this path of darkness after Jason dying, he eventually got himself sort of put into the Bat family. It's worth noting that he never intended to be Robin. He originally wanted to convince Dick to come back and take the role. However, because his father was still living at the time, he had to give up the Robin mantle, and his girlfriend Stephanie Brown, one of the current Batgirls, stepped into it for a while. Now, unfortunately, her Robin run was characterised with them basically just trying to find a way to kill her off. He came back for Robin as a while, and then in 2006 we were introduced to Damian Wayne, Bruce's blood son with Talia al Ghul. Raised within the League of Assassins, Damian is headstrong but has a lot to do when it comes to figuring out how to act like a human being. There are more Robins if you want to know more.